couple of months, maybe more than that back, Cheryl and I used to be a superintendent, but anyway, we've talked at length about what we could do with our advisory councils. I'd seen a lot of them over the years where we had visited with our different CTE teachers out in the school, and business and industry would come to those meetings, and we'd have coffee and we'd talk. And a lot of times it was, and it's different from every place, but a lot of times to see those outcomes and taking those outcomes from those meetings and coming back and seeing them taking place in the classroom. So we thought a lot about this, and we started the planning stage, and Mr. Henson with Arkansas Career Education was done so much to help us with this. Also, this was funded by the Arkansas Department of Career Education. So we're very thankful to be able to work with them and do the things with them. Hopefully this is going to be a model that we can push out in the other co-ops around the state. And we see this as just being a great opportunity when we can get business and industry and our teachers together. And we do have some distinguished guests here today that Ray will introduce in a little while. But it's just a great opportunity for our teachers, and I think everyone in this room, we're here for creating opportunities for our children. And our students are to be career and college ready, and we're working real hard on this college readiness through some of the CTE programs that we're doing. So I appreciate the teachers for being here. I know I see several superintendents, and those teachers are with us today, hopefully getting ideas, better trained, so they can go back out and work with the students in their classroom. So we really appreciate you being here. We appreciate business and industry being here and taking their time, and all the folks that are here from higher ed and so forth. So we hope to move this forward, and hope to have a great day today, learn some things, and then go back out into school districts and do good with kids. I would turn it over now to Ray Henson. He's with the Arkansas Department of Career Education, and he's going to do some introductions, and we're going to go forward.
Thank you very much. I do also want to welcome each and every one of you here. We started talking about these regional advisory councils a few months ago, and I appreciate Cheryl for going out on a limb and putting together this Northwest Arkansas Regional Advisory Council. And this will be a model for other programs around the state. And Trent Jones is here with the Springdale television program at the high school to video this workshop that we have today, so that we can show our other co-ops and two-year community colleges and career centers, etc., what we really want to accomplish with these regional advisory councils. Because of the weather scare, we have had some of our guests that were not able to make it here today, but we do have some representatives. We do want everyone at the table here today so we can discuss some of these things that are changing in education, some things that we would like to see happen. And so if you have some questions, there's probably someone here that can answer those questions for you. Manisa West is here from the Department of Higher Education. Sandra Porter is here with the Department of Career Education. She is the interim deputy director for CTE. Sonia Wright McMurray is also here from the Department of Career Education. She is over the Arkansas Works Career Coach Program, and I administer the state Cooter Navigator College and Career Planning System, and we also represent the Career Readiness Certificate Program. So any questions that you have in those areas, we would certainly like to be able to answer them for you. There are several things that we want to come out of this meeting today and continue on. We don't want this to be a one and done workshop here. Because of some other changes like the digital learning and using the SREB Advanced Careers, some programs that we want to adopt or change with the Common Core curriculum and career-ready practices that we're writing into all of our frameworks, we want to significantly change some of our programs, some of our courses, so we can better meet the needs of our students and our employers. And each part of the state is different, so it's important that we target specific career pathways in each part of the state so we are meeting the needs of our students and our employers as well. So today we want to review some of our career and technical education programs of study and those courses that we're offering. Some of our courses in the state have been in existence for a very long time. And in that period of time, industry has changed, and we want to make sure that we are meeting the needs of our students so they are able to find viable work when they graduate from school at whatever level that is. And it's important to obtain the level of education or the program or the degree or the certificate of proficiency or the skill so that they are able to find work and not be in the unemployment lines where a lot of people are today. So we want to help provide some direction in targeting these career pathways. In Career Tech Ed, we have had programs of study, 3 units to become a completer. Some of those programs may not lead to post-secondary education. Some may not lead to jobs in this part of the state. So we want to look specifically at those CTE programs of study and the courses that we're currently offering and look at what we could be offering. We want to determine the skills that are needed in those specific courses and programs. So we've got a panel that will be up here just shortly so we can look at the skills that are needed, and we'll break out after the refreshment break here in a few minutes, and we'll be going out into the rooms and then drill down into each of those career pathways. We also want to review the Career Readiness Certificate Program. Arkansas helps students earn, or job seekers in Arkansas earn over 50,000 career readiness certificates. We're also looking at a career-ready community where we help our young people and our job seekers to earn that CRC and have secondary and post-secondary education and workforce coming together to make sure that we meet the needs of the workforce demands. And this is what we're doing today is a very good start in that. Coming out of this, we want to develop those partnerships between the secondary, post-secondary, and those employers in each one of these career pathways. So today we had room in this building for 7 of those pathways. So there are several other pathways that we may want to address later on. So, you know, we have not ironed out what those standards are or what a career-ready community will look like. We have certainly looked at some of those indicators, some things that we want to improve, like graduation rates and the number of job seekers and students that hold a career readiness certificate. But you know, there are several state agency directors who want to see that move ahead. So now we have the ears of those people, those stakeholders that can make things happen. So coming out of this meeting today, we can go back to those council members and to the governor's workforce cabinet and say, this is what Northwest Arkansas wants to do, and we've got other folks in the state that want to do very similar things. So, you know, these are the recommendations that we would want to make to that cabinet. We want to look at the Career Tech Ed skills that we're currently teaching to see if we're meeting the labor market demands in each one of those career pathways. And then review the articulated and current credit that is being offered. We want to help our students earn as much credit toward college as they can while they're in high school. We know that the longer it takes for a young person to reach their career goals, and some of those are lofty, the more likely they are to drop out and start all over somewhere else. So we want to do or improve our career guidance and our career development from middle school on up. We know that even from earliest 6th and 7th grade, students are very concerned about their career path, their development. And if we can get those students engaged very early on, the more likely they are to stay engaged and take higher level math and science classes and the courses and the programs that they need to reach their career goal. If our young people were wanting to go into the NFL or NBA, they'd be working on those skills from elementary school on up. So some of our other career areas should be no different. We should treat them the same and help our students kind of target their individual career interest from very early on. We do want to improve those partnerships for innovative strategies in training. So we may have some of our industry partners here today that want to be a part of that education training process. We know that we have gotten away from workforce or work-based learning, helping our students to earn college degrees. But at the same time, our students do not understand the workforce environment. And our employers, and Steve Sparks is here from AEDC, I'll have him come up in just a second, but a lot of our employers are saying that our students are out of touch with reality when it comes to employer expectations. As a matter of fact, the Workforce and Investment Board challenges, I'd like to read these, and it was kind of shocking to me what they were saying about K-12 education. It says we have an inadequate education skill level of workforce, especially for high-tech jobs. Insufficient coordination between employers and education training professionals. Failure of job seekers and employers to make optimum use of existing workforce development programs. And sometimes inefficient, ineffective, and unresponsive K-12 and non-baccalaureate education and job training system. And then a lack of clear and definite communication between the K-12 system and post-secondary schools. So if our employers and our economic developers are saying that about career and technical education, then we must have a problem. So by having this regional advisory council, hopefully we can overcome those communication problems and work more closely with post-secondary schools and with our employers in this part of the state. We want to adopt those in-demand programs that are not currently offered. And I mentioned the SRAB. Arkansas is piloting the Innovations in Science and Technology curriculum. So we may have some schools in Northwest Arkansas that would be interested in this particular program. So if you are, we have some of these brochures up here on the table. We also want to review some of those working models and see if we can adopt those in our schools. And I mentioned Sonia Wright McMurray with the Career Coach Program. We know that that program is working in our low socioeconomic counties in the state of Arkansas. We know that we need more career guidance from middle school through post-secondary school for our young people to find that gainful employment and be successful in their own right. So they need additional career guidance throughout this educational system. We also use the Arkansas Works, we call it the COOTER system, the Navigator, but it's the Arkansas Works College and Career Planning System. And John Milroy is here with COOTER to explain that connect to business and link to college and those components in that system. We know that we need our students using that system from middle school through high school, but we also want our employers using the system so we can set up those industry tours and job shadowing and resource speakers into the schools so we can help our students get a better understanding. And then identify those digital learning opportunities. And NWAC and this educational co-op received their provider code status, and so did the Department of Career Education. So we can give our students more opportunities to earn post-secondary credit through digital learning. They can work on those programs at their home as well as in the school. Then identify grant funding opportunities in each of these career pathways so that we can share facilities, share education training programs, share instructors. So we want to develop those partnerships and submit for grants to be able to offer those opportunities to our students. And then following the meeting today, the career pathway chairs, Shel Pickering and I and some others, anybody that wants to stay around, we're going to take the notes from each of these groups, come together, and then we'll be able to provide the information to everyone here and our other friends around the state in education. So at this time, I would like to ask Steve Sparks to come up, and I haven't seen Shane Broadway yet, or Bill Stovall, and Senator Jane Inglis really wanted to be here today, but was unable to. So we'll ask Steve to step in. He works for the Arkansas Economic Development Commission, has been a great partner for career and technical education.
This around your neck. Oh, thanks. That's exactly what I needed to have. Good morning. It is Monday, right? It has snowed. We're all here. Y'all are here, okay? This is a good thing. First of all, let me thank you for inviting us to come and speak with y'all and to be a part of this whole process. This process is key to what goes on in economic development, what goes on in education, what goes on across the state to make the entire state prosperous and to help the economy of the state. As I have last minute assignments to come up and visit with y'all, I made a few notes here that I wanted to share with y'all as Ray was introducing everything. I am Steve Sparks, and I work with the existing Business Resource Division of AEDC. Grant Tennille apparently is stuck in traffic somewhere in Little Rock, I'm assuming. Surely he wouldn't have missed an opportunity to come talk. Grant loves to talk, okay? If anybody knows Grant, he does not miss a chance when he gets one. At any rate, what I do, and Robin Pelton is with us today too. Robin, raise your hand. She is part of the team that I work with, and Justin Smith is hiding in the corner back there somewhere. He is also with us as well, so you get a chance to raise your hand, Justin. Thank you. Is here also and is going to moderate one of the breakout groups after a while. But the thing that we do with economic development is work with the existing businesses that are in the state of Arkansas. The agency has been known for a long time and really has taken us a little heat over just trying to recruit new companies to the state. And so our division is focused on existing businesses. Now, we do work with new companies as they come on board, but our primary focus are the existing businesses within the state. And one of the key things we hear across the state, and Ray made mention of it a while ago, is communications. We talk to companies all over the state, and we hear the cry for their workforce and the skills that they need and the lack of numbers of people that they need to have to fill the jobs. And to that point, would anybody hazard to guess what percentage of jobs that were created in Arkansas last year came from outside the state? Wild guesses. Probably less than 10%. Somewhere around upwards of 80 to 85% of the jobs that were created in Arkansas last year came from companies that are already here, which is surprising to a lot of folks. So we have a huge job ahead of us trying to visit with the folks, and those that are here from industry, I applaud you being here, because that is one of the key things we hear and understand that is lacking in the state, is communication between the companies that are here and the educators that are here. Both want the same thing, both talk a different language. So these breakout sessions are going to be very useful to you as you understand what the needs are. I would encourage you, if you're from education, to drill down with the business and industry people that you visit with and really understand what they're saying. And I would encourage you, if you're from business and industry, to do the same thing with education. Find out what is preventing them, if there is a prevention, from getting you the kind of people that you need. Part of the thing is that business is changing at such a rapid rate that, and part of a huge piece of what we do is training for companies that are here. And we have seen over the last probably 7 to 8 years a phenomenal change in the kind of training that takes place. It used to be that you could train somebody to go to work in a relatively short time for a relatively small amount of money. The technology now that's in the business and industry is phenomenal. It doesn't look like it used to look. It's changed dramatically. And so the workforce that we're preparing to go into that, they walk in and there's just no connection. There's just a big disconnect with the folks that are coming into work that have never been in a workplace and don't even have any idea what they're walking into. So it's a phenomenal change. So communications is key. This is a great effort to get it going up here, to talk about the real needs that are out there and to move forward with those communications. And like Ray said, don't make this a one and done kind of deal. Make this an ongoing relationship, an ongoing discussion. Ray mentioned the career readiness certificates and career ready communities. Those are becoming increasingly important. And how they become important is that when new companies decide to locate, there are a lot of new companies that use what they call a site selector to find them a new location that might be ready for them. And that means the right size of facility, right size plant, the transportation, and a whole list of other things, state incentives. But the key thing is workforce. And workforce, at the end of the day, when new companies come to Arkansas, our team gets called in and gets to talk to the companies that are locating here, and what they want to know about is, where am I going to find the people that I need to run my plants, and who's going to train them? How are we going to get them trained? Is there an ongoing way to keep that communication, that training going, so that if I locate in the state of Arkansas, it grows? The CRC and the communities of workforce readiness that Ray spoke of are going to be critical pieces to that whole process, because the CRCs, career readiness certificates, are being advertised by ACT. They're out there. Site selectors are seeing those websites that show where the communities of workforce readiness exist. If we don't have those in Arkansas, we don't even exist on the map. And believe it or not, when companies start to locate in the state of Arkansas, or anywhere else, in the state of Arkansas or anyplace else, the first thing they do is check all the websites. If you don't appear on a website somewhere, you're not even in the game. You're not even a player. They don't even know you exist because you're not out there. We haven't shown them what we have, what it looks like, and how ready we are to go to work. Numbers of people, quality of people, the entire training scheme doesn't even count when it comes to new people looking at the state of Arkansas. So it's critical that we get on the map. We have a wonderful state. We have wonderful resources. We get wonderful people all across the state. And to not even be recognized for that is a crying shame. It gives all of our kids, grandkids, and everybody else opportunities that they wouldn't have if we can make sure that we know what's going on. And to that extent, the companies that are here that are maybe corporately owned by somebody out of state, when they get ready to expand in the state of Arkansas, the first thing they ask is, how are we going to expand this workforce as well? And if they can't be shown what's going on with that workforce situation, then again, you're not even on the radar screen. So I encourage you to keep working on what you've been working on and move forward with that. With that, I will sit down, and I'm sure that I'll be here the rest of the day for any questions you might have. But again, thank you for the opportunity to let me be here, and please stop one of us and visit with us as you have questions. Thank you.
I would like to say just a few more words about the Career Readiness Certificate, because it still may be confusing. We're still trying to get a few details worked out with our agency, but a lot of you know the old Workplace Readiness course. We really totally rewrote that using the Career Ready 101 curriculum. And that's the Key Train Career Ready 101 curriculum that will prepare students to take the ACT Work Keys assessments to help them earn the Arkansas Career Readiness Certificate. So now that course is called College and Career Readiness. The last few years that has been a grade 11 and 12 course, because for students to take the Work Keys assessment, they had to be at least 17 years old and have a valid Social Security number. So we're going to go back to the CRC State Steering Committee and ask them if we can lower that to age 16 to take the Work Keys assessment, because we've made an agreement with the Department of Education to allow students in grades 9 through 12 to take the College and Career Readiness course, and there's a supplemental course called Career Readiness. Together, they use almost all of the Career Ready 101 curriculum, which is online and housed by ACT to prepare students for the Work Keys assessments. This semester, we have been piloting the Career Ready 101 curriculum, which is totally online and has gone through Dawson Distance Learning. and we had about 26 schools in the state of Arkansas that participated in this, and there was something about around 200 students that are earning the CRC through that distance learning course. So this was the very first totally online course for students that was being piloted. So this coming school year, those 3 courses, the Career Ready 101 online, which is a combination of the College and Career Readiness course and the Career Readiness course. It has some parts of both of those 2 courses. The College and Career Readiness course is really intended to allow counselors to work with that group for graduation, completion, and college preparation, as well as to help them earn the CRC. The Career Readiness course has more of the career readiness skills and those employability skills that all of our students and job seekers need as well. So we really encourage all students to earn the Career Readiness Certificate. Those are the skills that they'll need not only for the workforce, but they will help them in their education as well. We have seen students that are using the Key Train curriculum to prepare for the ACT Work Keys Assessment. It has also improved their ACT scores for college prep. So in 2011, we passed one of our own bills for College and Career Readiness for CTE students. This is a program that will help our students to become college and career ready. So I really encourage all of the schools in this area to make sure that we have those programs in our schools to allow students, if they want to do it online, to go Career Ready 101 online, or if you want to have those in the classroom, or you can do a combination to give our students the opportunities if they have a full schedule otherwise. At this time, we'd like to ask John Milroy to come up. He is with the Cooter system coming from Adel, Iowa. So we really appreciate him coming here today. Tomorrow, we have a training for our teachers and counselors, anyone in this group that wants to go through a Cooter training. That'll be at the Northwest Arkansas Technical Institute. Stephanie Trollinger here is hosting that for us. She's here somewhere, back there in the back. We appreciate her for that. I do want to say a word about this before John comes up, though. The last few years, in fact, we've been using the Cooter system since about 1998. We rolled it out in 2009 as Arkansas Works College and Career Planning System. So the last 4 years, it's been fully state supported. We expect that to be this coming year, but as is true with a lot of state agencies, you know, we are really having to watch our dollars and where they go, so we have limited funds. Cooter wanted to help Arkansas keep this system in our states. This is for grades 6 through 16, and we have something around 67,000 students that are in the system right now this year in grades 6 through 16. But after next year, we may not have the funds for that. One part of that system is the Connect to Business. So I mentioned just a little bit earlier, we want to have our employers in that system as well so that we can set up those extended learning opportunities for our students. We may be asking some of our employers to help us fund that part of the system. So just kind of throwing out there for right now. We'll discuss that a little bit later on, but this time I'd like to ask John if he would come up. Do you have a mic? I'll punch you with the mic then.
Thanks a lot. Well, my little talk right here will be a little short. Ray took the words right out of my mouth. So I'm John Milroy, Director of Client Relations for Cooter Incorporated. We provide the Arkansas College and Career Planning System for the state of Arkansas. So I work with all our statewide leaders, work with Ray on this as well. It's a part of the Arkansas Works. How many in here are familiar with Cooter and Arkansas Works, and do you all use it then pretty regularly? Okay. What's that? Yep. So we have Arkansas College and Career Planning System for Cooter Navigator, which is for our secondary. We have the Journey System, which is for our post-secondary. And some of the things that are great about it, as Ray said, we've been in the state for quite some time now. and we're looking to hopefully stay here for quite some time. We do need the assistance of businesses. As Ray said before, the Connect to Business program. It allows students to connect to the businesses, and that's why we need industry partners, industry leaders to jump on board and be a part of that. What these businesses can do is update their information, put what they all provide. So if they're willing to host a introduction, they can come to the classes and speak. They offer internships. They'll have tours of their business. And what this can do is introduce the students, adults, to the world of work, so they understand what the next level of education going into their career is going to be. The other thing Ray had mentioned is the Link to College. Link to College is information that is on the Arkansas Works, the Cooter Navigator Journey System, which allows students to look at any college in the state of Arkansas. So we had a gentleman at our office contact each and every single college in the state of Arkansas, which took him a little bit of time to do. But we have all the information updated for Link to College, which allows you to see any college, whether it be Arkansas, University of Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas, anything that you're looking for, you can go in and see what the financial aid information is, what the tuition is, what the total population is like, any information about that college, and it'll pop up and let the student contact the college to send them more information. It's a really great system. It's been around for quite some time, and we're hoping that it does stay around. I did bring some handouts for the Navigator system, the Journey system, but also the Connected Business feature, which I really hope you do all grab, because it is an important piece that can really help out the system and also introduce students to the world of work and have your business out there as a participant, a helper of the system of Cooter. So I will be around here on later today. I do want to make sure I get to meet everybody here, talk to everyone, introduce myself. But also I want to thank Ray and Cheryl for inviting me out here. Really do appreciate being here. As Ray said, we do have a training that's going to be tomorrow. So if you do have any questions about that, feel free to let me know, Ray know. And if there's any questions at all about Cooter, Connect to Business, let myself or Ray Henson know as well too. So I do want to thank you for your time, and looking forward to meeting all of you. Thank you.
This time we've got a panel assembled, and Kim is with the Northwest Arkansas Council, so all of those economic issues, that he is your man to ask it for Northwest Arkansas.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. First, for allowing me to be here this morning. Hopefully, can everyone hear me? First of all, you've probably seen, thanks, Mike. You have probably seen recently that the Northwest Arkansas Council conducts, in conjunction with our chambers of commerce, what we called an ERE, Education, Retention, and Expansion Program, in which we interviewed over 600 companies throughout Northwest Arkansas about what their plans are. And what their plans are initially telling us that there will be 2,000 more jobs in Northwest Arkansas next year at this time. They plan to grow and expand. So it's important that we work to provide them with the type of workforce they need in order to fulfill those jobs. The second thing I want to mention to you, and this is pretty exciting news from behalf of the council, and you may have seen this as well. Over the 2013 year, Northwest Arkansas, the MSA, Northwest Arkansas's MSA, ranked 4th out of all 400 MSAs throughout the country in private sector job growth. 4th. That is actually tying the highest ranking that Northwest Arkansas has ever had. So we continue to grow. We continue to expand. And so what you do becomes very critical. It's so critical that last year at the start of school, I wrote an op-ed piece in the Arkansas Democratic Gazette that said education is economic development. So what you do is very important. We have a group of panelists up here today that I think is going to give you a little bit more information. I'm going to call them one by one, and as I call them up, I'll go ahead and go over their brief bio, and then we'll get into the questions and hopefully provide you with some opportunity to ask some questions at the end. So we pretty clear on how we're going to move forward? Good. The first person we have with us is Robin Schott. Robin Schott, Vice President of West Central Region for Project Lead the Way. Is Robin here? There she is. Hey, Robin, good to see you. Robin has been a state and national leader in career and tech ed. She's been a leader for Project Lead the Way for several years and worked coordinate STEM efforts in 12 states across the region. She's been a teacher, a state leader, a national advocate for STEM and career tech education. Good to see you, Robin. Next, we have Ryan Penner. Ryan began his professional career as an administrations counselor recruiter for JBU. After 3.5 years of recruiting for his alma mater, he got an opportunity to join a local real estate company where he had the role of director of operations for 1.5 years before joining Tyson Foods. He began his career as a corporate recruiter and handled such accounts as operations, accounting, finance, audit, production, commodities, renewable products, and other things. He got an opportunity to run a college relations program for Tyson Foods and is currently the corporate recruiting manager overseeing the operations, college relations, and information systems recruiting team. Let's welcome Ryan, please. Candy Alfano, Director of Nursing and Nursing Recruiter at Mercy Medical Center in Rogers. Mercy Medical System is one of the fastest growing healthcare systems in NWA. Candy works with all areas of human resources to fill the healthcare employee demands of Mercy Medical System. Let's welcome Candy. Mr. Steve Clark. Mr. Steve Clark is President and CEO of Fayetteville Chamber of Commerce. Before joining the Chamber, he served as a law professor, established a healthcare company, and also served as Attorney General for the state of Arkansas. Fayetteville Chamber of Commerce mission is a strong business climate and to facilitate positive community interaction that will result in continual economic development and enhanced quality of life. Mr. Steve Clark, let's welcome him. Mandy Hoagland. Mandy is a supply chain professional with more than 14 years of experience serving the world's largest retailer in Northwest Arkansas. Mandy is currently the supply chain manager for UCI Fram Group, where she leads a team of 5 individuals in helping serve the Walmart account from replenishment and supply chain perspective. Mandy, let's welcome her, please. Amy Bates. Amy began her career of event coordinating at Paragon Films in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, before moving to Fayetteville, Arkansas. She started her business in the fall of 2004. Her goal is to grow her event business into an Oklahoma and Little Rock area, specializing in corporate events, nonprofit galas, and incentive travel. Let's go ahead and welcome Amy, please. Indiana Easton, 1992 graduate of South Missouri State University. In 1998, earned a master's in curriculum and instruction from Maryville University. Currently working on specialist in administration through ASU and will be done in the fall. Congratulations on that. Currently working, taught in the classroom 20 years, coaching 8 of them. Past 2 years, she served as a small learning coordinator and worked to receive several grants and presented FHS SLC design at both state and national conferences. Let's go ahead and welcome Deanna, please. There is, I'm gonna use my phone here because I have something that I wanna kind of prep, and we'll go ahead and get into the questions here. But you know, I mentioned that ERE program in which we go out and we talk to businesses about what the opportunities are for the area to grow and develop and what we think will happen. We also have the technology now in Northwest Arkansas, which is why some of the funding from a workforce development standpoint, a workforce training standpoint that just happened in Little Rock becomes important in Northwest Arkansas because we see the growth happening. And so we have some numbers here that sort of demonstrate the openings in particular areas and how many individuals came through our Northwest Arkansas system to fill those jobs. So I just want to give you just a little bit of background on 3 particular areas that I think are pretty critical. And then we'll get into the questions from the panelists. So when we look at information technology in Northwest Arkansas, last year what we see is there were over 1,000 openings. 1,000 openings in information technology. And that includes computer programming, computer system and networking, network system administration, so forth and so on. over 1,000 openings. The number of completers, those individuals who came through our Northwest Arkansas system, our workforce system, our education system, to fill those 1,000 openings, 120. So what does that tell us? That means that most of those individuals who filled those 1,000 jobs came from somewhere else. Let's look at another industry. We got a couple of healthcare professionals in here. Let me see if I can find our, skilled trades, right? Over 1,000 openings, over 1,000 openings. The number of individuals who came through our systems that completed certification or the correct training for skilled trades, 87, right? The opportunity exists for Northwest Arkansas. And then finally, healthcare. Over 1,600 openings in healthcare, and once again, there's a breakdown by various different categories under healthcare. Over 1,600 openings, 950. So you can see there's a tremendous opportunity around workforce development in Northwest Arkansas. And we want to talk about that today. Our business folks want to talk to you about it. I want to talk to you about it. And our hope is that we can align our educational system, once again, education is economic development. We can align our educational system with the opportunities that exist so that our kids and our families and our adults who need the additional training to fill those jobs I just discussed, and there are many others throughout Northwest Arkansas, we can prepare them to do it. So let's go ahead and go on and get to our questions here. I'm going to actually open this one up, and then I'll be very specific with my questioning from then on. But Robin, why don't we start with you, because I think you have a wide range of experience about what's going on in Northwest Arkansas and other parts of the country and state. The first question, Robin, I'd like to throw it to you, is what occupations are the hardest to fill? What are you seeing and why?
Kim. Well, Project Lead the Way, the organization I work for, is really focused on STEM and STEM education development. So we work with a lot of national partners, but also Arkansas is definitely one of the states where we're working. But I think I would say STEM jobs are the hardest to fill. If you look at just Arkansas, we know that for non-STEM jobs, there are 4.4 unemployed for every one job. But if you look for STEM jobs, there are 2.4 jobs for every person that has a STEM degree. So I think we see this nationally. We see it in almost every state we're working in. We know that by 2018, there will be a shortage of over 1 million STEM jobs unfilled. And so I think that's why our group has been really committed to, we started, as many of you know, with an engineering program, and many of the schools in Northwest Arkansas have that engineering program. We're really excited about that. But we quickly grew to bioscience, and now we've quickly grown to computer science as well. And we see the intersect of those STEM opportunities for students pretty incredible. So the whole idea of the intersection of engineering with bioscience, with computer science, just incredible opportunities for students, and the opportunity to fill those jobs. As I looked at Arkansas's targeted sectors, or those industry sectors, and I actually got to hear Steve Stark speak a few weeks ago at the Engineering Deans meeting in Little Rock, and he was really talking about the need for engineers, the need for STEM folks, and how, the ability to grow Arkansas industries. But if you think about advanced manufacturing, you think about IT, you think about bioscience and green energy, we need students that are really prepared to meet those challenges and have the skills to be successful in those occupations.
Thanks. Would any other panelists like to address that question? What occupations are the hardest to fill and why?
I'll address it from healthcare. I have worked in healthcare for close to 40 years. I've been a nurse, and I've actually worked in 10 different states. Been in this area for about 12 years and seen a lot of change. We here in Northwest Arkansas, in terms of healthcare, are actually graduating enough RNs to fill the need. What we do not have enough of in healthcare are the support services, radiology tech, phlebotomists, CNAs, all those supporting systems for the registered nurse. As our population grows, we're meeting the physician need by having advanced practice nurses. So those, the need for the RNs that are graduating with their BSNs, going on for master's level. We're excited that JBU is opening, hopefully, their BSN nursing program, because we graduate an equal number of associate RNs as we do BSNs in Northwest Arkansas. So it's an interesting bubble that we have here, because we actually have enough nurses. Now, if you go over the hill down to Fort Smith or Little Rock or Southern Arkansas, it is a whole different ballgame. They don't have enough RNs. You go to Tulsa, they don't have enough. You go to Springfield, they don't have enough. But it is those support things that support. If we don't have enough nutritional services, folks, we can't feed our patients. If we don't have enough housekeepers, we can't keep the rooms clean. We don't have enough phlebotomists, we can't draw the blood to run the labs. We don't have the lab techs to run the equipment. But then the other caveat is every single one of those people has to be computer literate, from the housekeeper all the way up. We are 100% computerized for everything that happens in our building. So even if you're scrubbing my toilets, you have got to be able to be computer literate to log on, find out where the next room is that needs to be cleaned, log back on when you're done, and us know, because that's all an integrated system on the computers.
Anyone else? Actually, Ryan, I'm going to throw, you can go ahead and respond to that, but I do want to throw the next question to you as well, because I think you have a tremendous amount of experience in regards to this. In the 5 to 10 years, the careers that are offered through your industry will look like what? And what are the fields or positions that you see becoming available? As someone who goes out and do a fair amount of college recruiting, you have to be aware of where your organization is going. So what's coming up? What's happening in regards to Tyson Foods?
Sure.
Where's the trend going, and what do you see individuals needing to develop in order to fill those positions?
Sure, okay. You know, when you look at Tyson, right, so we're a big company, and when you look at what type of positions we have, when you think of Tyson, you probably think chicken, right? So then you think chicken plant, right? And then you think, you know, the workers in the plant. And that's our business. We certainly have those, and that's a high need area. So we have those that make our food, which is going to be our production teams, our maintenance teams, which is a huge need right now. Maintenance is a big skill set that we need at Tyson. Then you have those that are supply chain, which is massive. I mean, we have our own trucking fleet of about 1,500 trucks, right? So you have those that are the distribution side of our business. Then you have the sales and marketing side, those that sell and market our products. Then you have this whole support side that a lot of people don't really think about. And by that I mean like HR, right, would be a support side to the business. You have information systems, which is a really big part of our growth area at Tyson, and that would be one of the areas that we have 550 information system folks at our corporate headquarters, and that continues to grow, and that's an area of need. And then you look at the research and development side of our business, which is getting really big. We're very fortunate. We have a discovery center at Tyson's, wonderful. It's got 19 kitchens and very state-of-the-art, and they are in need of food technologists. Now with that, it is something that you have to have quite a bit of education to do. So typically they won't even consider you unless you have your master's in some sort of food science program. In a lot of cases, they're looking for a PhD. So the research and development side is a really big part of Tyson, especially with where we're going. We are, currently a $35 billion company looking to get a lot larger in the next few years when you look at the prepared food side of our business, which is going to be like the tortilla foods and soup, sauces, and side dishes, which is a growing part of our business. Really, from an expansion standpoint, research and development is going to be big. Here in the next few years, the sales and marketing side is a place we're going to be hiring quite aggressively, especially on the marketing side. So we have a position that would be called like a product manager, and what they do is they are over a certain product line, and as far as the skill set of that, you know, a marketing background would be great, but we have a lot of training programs at Tyson. So really, we're looking for, you know, two main things. We'd say aptitude and attitude. So the aptitude, can you pick it up quickly? Can you learn and retain would be a big one. Then the attitude piece is pretty important. You've got to be able to be a team player. And so, you know, one of the questions down here, and I don't want to jump, but it does say, what's the main reason a trained applicant would not be hired? As they're not perceived as a team player. And so that we work in teams at Tyson. I'm sure most of you in most of the industries, it's all about teamwork. And so that's something that we treasure at Tyson. So.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. Just a little bit of background. I gave those numbers earlier in regards to, because Ryan mentioned information technology. A few weeks ago, I had a meeting with the individual that does all of the computer programming at Tyson. And he and I had a conversation, and he says, Kim, what I need are individuals with a baccalaureate degree in computer programming. The information we have at the council shows that last year there were over 308 openings that specified computer programming. Last year in Northwest Arkansas, we graduated 6. And he got all 6. He says, I go to U of A, I do my best to work with them. I'm trying to get in high schools and tell kids that these opportunities exist because we need them here at Tyson and other needs them as well. So Ryan, you know, what you just gave, the information we have definitely backs that up. You mentioned something that I'd like Steve Clark to comment on, and Mandy, I'd like you to comment on this as well. The idea of being an effective team player. Steve, you do a lot of things in regards to partnerships and cooperative partnerships and ensuring that individuals who may benefit from working together get in the same room and do that. So can you talk a little bit about what particular skills or traits new employees would need in regards to being an effective team player, not only within your organization, but what you've seen across the board? And Mandy, I'd like you to comment on that as well, as someone who works very closely with the world's largest retailer and providing a service to them. Obviously, being an effective team player is important. So Steve, if you can address it first, and then Mandy, we'll have you address that.
And hold it the whole time.
Oh, all right. Well, listening skills. Everybody hears, not everybody listens. Listening skills. In my organization, or the people that we represent, and Fayetteville Chamber of Commerce represents a little over 1,200 businesses. And so we'll hear often, they don't listen. I simply said, please be there at 8 o'clock. And they got there at 8:21. They don't listen. Secondly, flexibility. The idea that your job is what it takes to get it done today. So, and flexibility means not putting yourself in a silo. And that can be very difficult to prevent. Titles put people in silos. So that's my title, so that's what I do. I don't do this other things. The flexibility to focus on what is the objective or the mission of the day, as well as the objective and the mission of the business and the goals that are articulated, but the objective and the mission of the day. The other part of that is workplace presence. If you show up looking like you don't want to work, you're probably not going to work. And so workplace presence is not just attire, but it is literally the idea that you've come to your job with an opportunity to contribute, and how you deal with that. So some of that, we're talking about attitude, that is a part of workplace presence. And workplace presence, at least in my business, and we don't sell any product. So we sell reputation and service. That's all we sell. So we tell people we are a solutions destination. If you've got an issue, come to us. We'll try to partner you up with whatever that solution is. Not that we'll have the answer, but we'll partner you up. Which means for my folks, and then we say this with other people's, whether it's in Superior where they're making wheels, or it's Mexican Original where they're making tortillas, or It's Pinnacle, where they're making Hungry Man dinners, or it's Washington Regional, where they're saving lives, or it is Three Monkeys and they're selling retail. The whole issue is, how can I help you today? And so, and that means doing more than just what the definitional role is. So the question is, and some of our businesses do this and some do it better than others. Some of them say to their team members, when someone presents you a challenge or an issue or a question, you own it and you can then craft the answer. And whatever answer you craft is the correct answer. We hope you don't give the business away, but whatever you craft is the answer is the answer. Some do that very effectively, some do not do it quite as effectively. And I don't know all the reasons why, but listening, a workplace presence, an ability to focus on what the mission is and be flexible. That lack of flexibility is frustrating at times. And a lot of our folks hear that, you know, well, I'm not supposed to do that. You say, well, today we need this done, so come on and be a part of the team. Andy?
I got it? Everybody hear me? Yeah. Okay. I would basically echo just about everything that Steve just said. You answered that question very well. I would add only people in my industry need to not be afraid to learn new technology, and they also need to be able to work as a team, again, that common theme, and be willing to share the credit for successes. Willingness to continue to learn, to be a lifelong learner, you know, a willingness to sweep the floors, so to speak. There are a lot of different roles and things that you can do within the supply chain industry, especially when you're talking about supporting Walmart from that perspective. Some of those things are funner than others, but in order to be a successful team player in this industry, you need to be able to do those not so fun things when people need your help. So that would definitely be another thing. Also, you know, the desire to work cross-functionally, the desire to reach across the aisle and talk to the different functions within an organization, you know, supply chain, being able to talk to marketing and sales and get true integration within an organization. That's important. Some people, you know, you spoke to silos. Some people are very specific about what their job is, and they just don't naturally think, instinctively think, just to think outside of that box. So the ability to train cross-functionally, to communicate and work cross-functionally, and truly act as a team player and help out wherever they can, regardless of the funness of what is needed.
Thanks. I want to go to Amy next, because I think you guys have mentioned a number of things that, as someone who has their own business, since, you know, I'm sure, Amy, you work with a lot of individuals and rely on them to sort of help you out. You know, we've heard a little bit about, and you know, I guess it's the other side of the coin, what I'm going to ask you, and it may be some of the same answer here, but we heard a little bit about what skills are necessary. But when you're looking at bringing people on or assisting you with various events, what are those things that they shouldn't do? What are those things that any reason why you would not hire them?
We have a number of young people who are looking to get into the hospitality industry, and the number one reason is it's glamorous. And it's not. It's not glamorous at all. But I think the television and I think the internet have made that industry appear very glamorous. They don't see behind the scenes. The thing that absolutely drives me crazy is when someone wants to interview, and then they'll call me and ask directions of where they're to meet me, and then they'll show up in inappropriate attire, and then they haven't looked into our company, and they don't know anything about it, and they're looking for me to provide all of that information. What we're finding today is that young people, and as educators, you know this, they have an entitlement issue. And I don't blame you educators, I blame the parents. And as the parent of a teenager, I understand, you know, they want every problem solved for them. And they look to you and don't understand, well, why do I not have a good grade? Well, that would be your fault. That's not my fault, and it's not your parents' fault. And then the parents come to the rescue for it. So what we're finding is there's an entire generation with the inability to problem solve and to think for themselves. And in my company, I bring you in and I tell you, I'm going to give you a trial. We're going to do an event together, and it's sink or swim. And I don't tell them how to do the event. I tell them what I want the outcome to be. And 90% of them fail because they can't think for themselves. And so the biggest problem that I have in my industry is that they're unprepared, they're worldly unprepared. And that's quite frightening for all of us who have teenagers or students who are, you know, about to enter into the workplace. Have we prepared them to be able to function in this world without mom or dad sitting right beside them?
We did get that on tape, right? I'll tell you, I need just that clip from my house, right? I just need that. Let's slice that piece right there. I'll buy a copy today, right? A little insight into the Davis household. Sorry to bring personal into this, but so yesterday it's time for church class, and I tell my 11-year-old, "Where's your book?" And she says, "I don't know." And I say, "Well, last week we went to class without our book because you didn't know, right? Yeah, so what did we do between last week and this week to solve the problem? Nothing. Okay, so now we're going 2 weeks without our book." I said, you know, the goal is to not repeat the same mistakes. I said, what could you have done differently between last week and this week? I don't know. How do you not know? Let's look for it. Let's tell Dad. Let's think we might have to ask the teacher for another book. I think there are a number of things that we could have done. And so we went into the you got to think for yourself conversation. So I need a copy of that because I need to have her understand that these are not things that Dad is just saying, right? These are things that employers are saying or looking for. So I appreciate that. I want to go down to the end to Deanna because, you know, there's a lot of educational background there. So help our educators know. What are the things, what advice do you have for them in regards to helping kids decide their career path, what they should be focused on, what they should be looking at? I think we had a lot of great advice, but educator to educator, can you just give a little bit of background on that, please?
Probably the most important thing that I think you can do is listen to your students, and I'm telling you something that you already know, but listen closely and then offer advice, meaningful advice, sometimes even when they're not asking for it, in very subtle ways of, you know, and sharing personal stories or stories that you may even want to make up about somebody else that can lead them down the right path. And I think it's every teacher's job to do this, not just the career and technical education teachers, although we are usually the ones that are known for doing that. I think it's telling them to get involved in the community and encouraging them to develop their own identity, not be afraid to ask questions. I also wanted to say about the problem solving. It's teaching students not just how to problem solve, but when and how to go about doing it, how to approach other people, how to develop those relationships, knowing when to say something, knowing when not to say something. So that's probably the best piece of information that I can give you. As a small learning community leader at Fayetteville High School, one of the things that we do with our students is we ask them when they're entering in 10th grade, what interests you at this particular time? What careers do you maybe want to know more about? One of the great things about our school is that we have a vast number of electives available. So encouraging students to try new things and not telling them what you expect them to do, because money is one thing, but happiness in a job is certainly just as important, and we all know that in this room. So not limiting them would probably be another important thing.
Good. I want to, before I open it to some questions from you out there, a few days ago I sat down with an organization, and just hopefully it ties all in what I'm about to say. And the reason we sat down with them is because they've been very successful at training their employees. They have a model that they use. And the first thing they do when they hire someone is they send them to Austin, Texas for 3 months. And they sort of send them through their training process. How to think, what's going to be required, the culture of the organization, how to problem solve, so forth and so on. And so we were having a conversation with this organization about how can we utilize the curriculum you have? Is there a possibility of taking that curriculum and implementing it into our secondary schools? And they were very receptive to the idea. But I only say that because there are organizations out there, obviously, and I think that's what we're about today, is trying to figure out how do we create the pipeline that at the end we're producing students or we're training a workforce that is ready initially day one to hit the ground running. That companies are not spending additional time going back and retraining. And so I want us to talk a little bit about that. Robin, I'm going to throw a question to you because I think it's important in regards to STEM. How do you create the program that you have? Or is there corporate involvement in the creation of that program? Does corporation and businesses help to guide and direct the areas of emphasis in regards to your program? And how do you see that play out kind of moving forward?
Absolutely, we involve all of those. So I think that's how our program pathways have expanded from engineering to bioscience to now computer science. It's really listening to our corporate partners, and we have some really strong national corporate partners who need the talent. And we just had an incredible bioscience meeting last week, and it was really the information that they were sharing with us was very leading edge. How do you move to population healthcare management versus individual healthcare management, and how do you introduce culture to folks that are going to be providing care to others? So we have those conversations on an ongoing basis. I think the things that we really try to instill in our in the development of our programs too is the idea of problem solving and teaming and this really empowering students to be innovative and those problem solvers. So those are the pieces. We really believe in collective impact and shared value as we work with our corporate partners and try to listen to what skills they need for students, and that really impacts the development of our content.
Before I open it up to the group, is there any other comments any of the panelists would like to make? Okay, why don't I open it up? Are there questions from the group here to our standing panelists that you may want to ask? Okay, I'm going to back up a little bit because here's what I want, right? We got ADC in the house. They're going to be creating the process of how this new workforce development funding gets applied across the state. And so here's what I want. Let's show the Northwest Arkansas involvement in this, because it's going to be important that we show them not only do we have the job openings, but we also have the energy, the participation of our educators in making sure that we answer the questions we need to answer in order to get the resources we need. So I'm going to ask again, are there questions out there that we have for our panelists that could that you've been dying to ask? Sure, Steve.
One of the things that I would encourage you to encourage your students is the concept of learning is failing up. What I see both in my business and then what I see with the businesses that we represent, the most successful ones have employees who fail up. In other words, every time I learned something, even though it wasn't a total success, I failed up. In other words, I actually didn't fail. I learned. And the best businesses that I've seen who've done that make that person a part of the solution. And by that, it's not just that they have the responsibility to get the task accomplished. They have responsibility for shaping the answer to getting the task accomplished. And so they often have to describe or participate in that. And I have seen that firsthand. We have two people who are working in our office who are totally outside of what their skill sets are. And they're gotten some guidance and some help, not from me, but from others on my team. But they're told to get this goal achieved. And they get quite a bit of latitude, maybe up to 35% of the whole final decision is theirs. And they're making the final decision for the first time. So it's their first time effort in this. But they are told you can't fail as long as you learn. And I lived in Austin, Texas for a decade, and I never did get where I like Texans. But anyway, I lived in Austin for a decade, and one of the things I did learn about Texans that I thought was interesting, at least in Austin, I'd grown up in Mississippi County, northeast Arkansas, and you'd hear some of these dreamers, and you'd hear these stories about dreamers from Arkansas, like Fred Smith, who founded FedEx in Memphis, but tried to found it or tried to organize it out of Little Rock. And you hear stories about people who had these ideas, and they say, oh, you'll never make it. That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. In Texas, in Austin, when you had a great idea and it failed, they picked you up, dusted you off, and said, saddle up. What's your next good idea? And when they went looking for employees, they went looking for employees who had tried and failed rather than those who had never tried at all. And there was a mindset in that community. I was stunned. People would get $50 million thrown at their idea, and they'd lose it all. And then 3 months later, they're employed as the head of some new company getting $50 million. And you're thinking, this has a very, very bad track record. And the track record was what I was focusing on, not the learning. And so if there are ways to encourage that, I think that's very, very important. Nothing will ever be perfect. So the question is, did it meet the goals and the objectives? And did we all learn something from it? So I think there's a sense to that.
Steve, I think that's a great place to end. If we can give a round of applause and thank our panelists, please. I want to personally thank you. The council has been working over the last few years with a number of individuals that you know in education, and we have found some tremendous partnerships there, and we want to keep those partnerships going. I want to thank Ray, I want to thank Mike and Cheryl for everything that they've done to allow business and industry to play a role in how we educate and develop our students moving forward. We definitely see this as a partnership that is beneficial to Northwest Arkansas. This year we're going to pass our 500,000th resident. You're going to see some exciting things coming our way because of our growth and opportunity, and we want to keep that going. But what we do know is we cannot do that without the assistance of our educational leaders in the community. So I want to thank you for everything that you've done, and let's continue to try to partnership. You have one quick question? Okay.
I'm just wondering, panel in general, sometimes as a business teacher, I have trouble convincing my students about career opportunities that they are personally unaware of. Some of these things that I've been taking all these notes on, okay? So you have in your business in your job, do you go out and speak to high school programs, or would you be willing to? Because it's awareness, you know, it is letting them know, because they don't have older siblings or parents who are involved in these high demand careers. And so, you know, how can we bring, you know, how can we bring your, you know, the information you have to our students?
Okay, so just quickly, let me go ahead and restate the question. How do we, in the business community, are there programs within your organizations that help students become aware of the opportunities that exist with your companies? And if so, what are they?
I'll just answer quickly for myself. Any invitation that I have from any school, I represent and go out. I've talked to multiple schools in the area, so if you want to get my card before we break out, I'll be happy to give it to you. The earlier students understand about health care, the better they can make appropriate decisions about what avenue of health care they can go into. And if I am not available, I make sure that I find somebody in my organization to go out. We also do participate in your job shadowing the schools. I think there needs to be contact way before the job shadow day. I really like getting into like 5th, 6th grade is the first time. I love talking to kids, and then you follow up with them a year or two later, and then high school freshman year is great. I go to extracurricular activities when I'm invited, so I think that there's opportunity.
Anyone else would like to answer that quickly? Amy, go ahead.
I would say any opportunity that you as a career person can open up the door and say, come spend a day with me outside the classroom.
Classroom experience is so much better than inside the classroom experience. Your kids get so much more excited when they can come outside the classroom and learn underneath you. But what it takes is us owners, us career people to say, I'm going to take the time to spend with your kid today. We're all busy. And anytime that you have the opportunity to open up your doors, and we need to let you know that as educators, hey, give me a call. I'm going to take the time to spend time with you.
And Ryan, why don't you want to finish that off?
Yeah, just real quick. So we do tours. Like we have classes that will come up to corporate and we'll give them tours. And that's a big thing in our industry. Ag awareness is a big issue, ag education. You know, when you go through McDonald's and you get a hamburger, they just eating a hamburger. But there's somebody marketed that, somebody formulated the product, where'd the buns come from? How'd they get there? Where'd the meat come from, right? So we love taking classes on tours, and we do that quite often. So
Ryan, who should they contact if they're
you can
interested
contact
in
me.
doing that?
Yeah, get a hold of me and we can do that.
Good.
Ryan.penner@tyson.com.
I want to once again thank the panelists and thank you. I'm doing my best to keep us on time. Just so everyone's aware, you probably have your sheet here, but I'll quickly go through it. Breakout sessions starting at 10 o'clock, so that gives us a little bit time to get there. Room 14 is agriculture. Room 9 is medical professions. I'm not sure we're ready to leave. I'm just kind of leaning forward here, so please be patient. Don't get up just yet. I have to look at Cheryl and see what she's gonna tell me here. Room 9 is medical professions. Room 17, business and marketing. Room 1, supply chain logistics. Room 10, hospitality and culinary arts. Room 8, education and training. Room 16, engineering. And the small conference room, post-secondary education and career readiness. I want to thank you personally for coming out, allowing us to speak to you today. I'm sure they will be. I'll wait just a second. See, I'm a classroom teacher too. That's what I used to do. Oh, I'll wait. that was my signal, right? I'll wait. But I want to thank you for allowing me to be with you today. And I think there's going to be some real activity happening around this. There's already been a tremendous amount, but I'm sure you'll be able to mark this day as the day where business and education around workforce training begins to really take a hold in Northwest Arkansas. So thank you for that. With that being said, Cheryl, I'm going to turn it over to you. Ray, get you back up here.
I just wanted to add a couple more things. Kim gave us some numbers, and if you are a data person, if you'd like to know where all those numbers come from, Steve Sparks and ADC, my office and Kim's office, and there are others that collect all of this data. So if you want to know how many students complete a program of study in any of these schools in Northwest Arkansas at the high school level or the college level, you know, I have all of that information and be more than happy to share all of that with you. Then we can take those numbers, those completers at the secondary and post-secondary level, and look at where those job opportunities are. We want to make sure that there are jobs available for our students when they complete programs of study. So when we look at this Northwest Arkansas region, you know, we see all of our high schools offering a couple of programs of study. So we have a lot of completers in those areas, and then we have some other programs that are not being offered at all, or just a handful of students completing those, and those are the areas that Kim was saying where we have the greatest demand. So our students should also have that same type of information, you know, where the jobs are, and from very early on, all through high school and post-secondary, so that they are placed appropriately. I did also want to make mention, because we are about to go to break, that Northwest Arkansas Community College, the Culinary Arts program, those students, they're seniors, and in the internship program has provided the refreshments for us out here. So grab some refreshments, there's plenty out there still, and then make our way to those breakout sessions. Anything else? Oh, the supply chain is in room 1 right over here. Several of you are administrators, and you may not fall directly under one of these pathways of study, and there are some of us from the state level as well. You know, you may want to drop in on each of these, but if you have an interest in the supply chain, that's a program of study or a pathway that we don't have developed, but that is one of those digital learning courses that will be made available for Northwest Arkansas. So that'll be in this room 1 right over here, I believe. Anything else? We want to thank all of our panelists and thank Kim Davis for his hosting that session. Thank you. Thanks again, and now it's break time.